Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. My name is Rafael Arita and today I'm going to talk about some English teaching methods and approaches. Alright, so let's get started with the first one. That is going to be the communicative language teaching approach. This approach focuses a lot on the students' communicative skills and that the communicative skill of these students needs to be fluently and effective, meaning that they should be able to transmit an authentic message to one another without making many mistakes. So let's go and see the activity for this approach, and it's going to be a puppet show. All right. So the learning objective for this activity is students will be able to understand and produce words and short sentences based on a story. All right. Before going over this activity, we need to make sure that the reading or story that we are going to present is according to our students' level and needs. So, how do we start this activity? We need to follow several steps, and the first one is that we need to read the story to our students using our puppets. So after we finish reading, we can work over the vocabulary and some difficult phrases that appear in the story, so the students can have a better comprehension of the overall story. After that, we can have our students working on their own puppets. So they need to create their own puppets. Of course, you need to provide the materials and the model of the puppet so that they do not lose so much time on this part of the activity. After they have finished creating their puppet, you can have them making groups or five or six people, and then they can have bunches of the story, and with their puppets, they can recreate it. Okay, so some of the materials for the activity is going to be the story. In this case, I have this example, the three little pigs. Then we need the puppets, right? These materials are for your students so that they can create their puppets, and they are the paper and card. They need some deep sticks, also glue, scissors. Now, it is optional if you want to present or a little theater to represent the story and having it as a background. And it's also optional if you want to use music to acclimate the stories according to the mood, right? Then the next one is going to be the task-based language teaching approach, right? And this approach is based on task completion. So it gives the student a lot of authentic material so that they can work on, and also has the students build confidence with their peers. Okay, so we have some steps to um, work with this task-based learning approach, and we have the pre-task to engage the students on the task, and we in here we give instructions and also motivate the students to finish this task. Then we have that task, that it is when they are creating or completing the task, and the review, that is when you give feedback to your students about the completion. All right. Then we have the activity for this task-based approach, and it's going to be the jigsaw. The objective for this activity is students will be able to distinguish the different parts of the speech through simple explanation. All right, so let's explain how the jigsaw works. First, you need to have your group of experts. So you can divide a class in groups of 5 to 6 people, and they're going to be an expert group. After that, you can give your students some tags with numbers, letters, and names so that you can differentiate the different groups. After that, you are going to tell your students to number themselves from 1 to 6, as an example. Then you are going to hand out a text or a material with information to your students. So they are going to read it, they're going to analyze it, they're going to discuss it among them in the expert groups. After that, you can separate uh, your students according to their number. For example, one whole group with numbers one whole group with all numbers 2. And then they are going to discuss the material and they're going to uh, present their point of view. In this case, as the objective says, they're going to discuss the parts of the speech. So one group will have the nouns, all the information for nouns, other group, all the information for adjectives, other group, all the information for adverbs, and so on. And then they will get together and discuss it. So the materials we need to accomplish this activity are going to be a tag, the text, pictures if needed, and a diagram. Why a diagram? Because when they go over to share their what they have already discussed, then they can fill in a diagram so that they cannot miss all the information that is going to be discussed. On the third, I'm going to talk about is the audiolingual method. And this method works with the behaviorist theory, meaning it gives a trait of good feedback or bad feedback to our students in a way of a prize. This audiolingual method works mainly with drills, repetition drills. So they do not learn vocabulary as a whole. They repeat it, and then they get the vocabulary in their minds. Okay, then let's see the activity for this method, and it's going to be tongue twister. All right, this tongue twister is mainly used as an icebreaker before the class, but now you're gonna see why is for this audio label method. The objective is going to be students will be able to recall and repeat the tongue twister correctly. In here, we first will present some tongue twisters to our students. It can be on flashcards, on posters, or we could write it on the board using markers. Uh, then we're gonna have our students. First, we're gonna say the tongue twister, then our students are going to repeat it. Then we are going to ask our students to repeat it faster. And then we're going to tell our students to repeat it as fast as they can 3 times in a row. So here is in the mentioned example, a good could as much cookies as a good cook who could cookies. So in this case, using literally easy tongue twisters, we can have them engage in a really funny activity. We can also ask our students if they know some tongue twisters in their L1 and try to say it so that they can see that they are not the only ones involved in the classroom, right? And the materials for the activity are going to be posters, markers, or the board. It depends on you. Well, see you next time and thank you for your attention.